Here's a secret hack for cracking UX interviews. Think like a recruiter. Most designers focus on polishing their UX portfolio, but that's only half the story. The real game changer? Understanding how recruiters think while hiring UX candidates. Until you master this, standing out in a long list of participants will always be very challenging. In this video, we will do a deep dive into the recruiter's journey. We'll understand how they shortlist candidates, what they look for in the UX portfolio, and why great designers still get rejected even after doing a lot of things. The trick is about how you can look at everything from their perspective and prepare backwards from their expectations. I will take you into a live session with a bunch of students who are preparing for UX job interviews after preparing their UX portfolio. And through this session, let us understand the journey of a recruiter and how we can prepare very well for UX interviews. One of the most important things we need to understand while we prepare for job interviews, because we can't blindly just prepare to interviews saying by formula this is how interviews happen and therefore that's how I have to prepare. That's not how things work. You need to be very conscious about a recruiter's journey. If you empathize a recruiter very well, you'll understand why you're doing what you're doing. Like if I ask you a bunch of questions, why should you have a portfolio? Why should you highlight some of the important decisions you have taken in a previous design project? Let's say they ask you about yourself. Why should you be prepared about talking about your story? Why should you negotiate salary? If I ask you all these questions, your answer should not be because this is the standard interview process. I'm supposed to learn all these things so that I can fit the standard interview process. That should not be your answer. In fact, if you're even looking for a standard interview process, a textbook interview process to happen, you will be shocked. You yourself will attend interviews. Or probably is Yash still there? Or yeah,
Tell me.
Yash, agree that every company's interview process and approach are very unique.
Yeah, all of them are different.
Sure.
Yeah,
We identify patterns, which I'll present today, but what they're looking for, literally, like hiring literally depends on what they are actually looking for, right?
yes.
So it is very important for us to understand the journey of a recruiter, like why, the whys of why the entire interviewing process is happening, and why is it that I'll have to prepare in a certain manner. Okay, that will happen only when you empathize with the recruiter. So let's quickly look at it. So this is the journey of a recruiter. So that let's say they have a requirement to hire a candidate, either it's an intern or a full-time employee. They'll post, they have three sources, correct? By common sense, they can either post on job platforms and portals, they can ask for referrals, or they can directly reach out to candidates. Through referrals, it's basically they talk to multiple agencies or they themselves talk to their employees. Through multiple sources, they get referred of candidates, or they directly post on platforms, or they directly reach out to candidates. These are the three ways you can find out people. Okay. Once they're doing that, they're going through resumes, portfolios, and they're trying to shortlist candidates. Then they're trying to interview people, right? Then they'll have to extend the offer to the candidate and negotiate their salary and stuff like that. And they'll have to onboard the employees. This is the job of a recruiter, correct? If in each of these steps, what I want you to think about, take it as a homework and you think for yourself, what is important for me when I'm posting in a job portal? What am I thinking? Think like a recruiter. I need to post a JD in such a way that maximum number of people will apply. I need to keep it a little generic. I don't want to keep it too specific. Though I want to hire a specific person, now as a recruiter, I don't want to limit the number of applications because I'm already desperate to find people. So you're like, let them not decide whether this is the right role or not. Let me decide. Let them apply first. Let me reject and decide. Or let us say when a referral comes, what is my thought process? Is this person good or not? Do they have a good portfolio or not? Have they worked somewhere previously or not? So think, if you think it's a very common sense thing, right? You might be wrong. It's fine. You will empathize the recruiters much better after you face 10 rejections. How can someone substantiate this statement? 10 rejections will make you empathize the recruiter and start thinking on behalf of them. I'll give more clues, okay? You are a UX designer, okay? You're trying to apply. Obviously, you can't get selected in one go, correct? It will take a bunch of rejections to happen, correct? While the rejections are happening, what is that you should do so that you can empathize recruiters in a much better manner? It's not just about rejection. I'm probably saying the first 10 interviews experiences you are having. Through all this, what is that I will do mindfully so that I study and understand how recruiters think? What can I do?
asking for the feedback or asking the reason why I got rejected.
Okay.
Understanding why they need this post or posting. Why do they need such a designer in their team, and what is the job role requirement that they want? And
Okay.
reading through it will make us understand, okay, this is the requirement they want. That's why it's not happening.
Okay.
Then we can go pinpointed in where we are applying, and it will give us a good picture on where we should apply and go on a
Almost there. I'll explain. See, all of you know how to do a usability test, correct? So, what do you do in a usability test? Are you really asking users, why didn't this design work? You're not. You're observing the user, you're looking at what are the questions they're asking, you're observing their situation, and you are then taking decisions. So the same approach you actually do. That's why I said 10 rejections, because like in a usability test also, you see where are things failing, where are things working out, right? So you should never judge an interview just as pass or fail. Oh, I got this interview, so everything I did worked. I failed this interview, everything is wrong. My portfolio is wrong, questions, answers are wrong, everything is wrong. It's never that black and white. So any of these rejections, any of these things from the questions they ask, from the requirements or the documents they put, right? The way they talk to you need to constantly keep observing them. You need to do it as if you are usability testing your portfolio and yourself. It's like the first few interviews, or literally all interviews, at least the mindset helps. That initial interviews I'm not doing to get selected. I'm only doing it like a testing ground. I didn't launch myself yet. I'm only testing it out. I'm beta testing myself. And you go there and conduct usability tests. That they look at your portfolio and they're like, oh, do you have a project in which you have built a design system? What does it mean? You and I have built it, but they didn't understand it. So what does that mean? It means that probably the right focus on each of the skills is not coming out very well. But again, in usability test, you don't do what the user is asking. Recruiter might say, hey, you know what? This design system is there. No, you should put it in the first. Don't do it. Think of it, right? Because that's an individual requirement. Now you need to think of it. Why are they asking? The root problem might be that it is things are not very straightforward to discover. If they want to focus on one individual skill, it's not very clear in my portfolio. So how do I do that? Think of it, right? In this way, take usability testing notes from every interview you are attending. Makes sense? And it'll take your own journey. It is not going to be very easy, but don't get discouraged. It's not going to be so difficult as well. It's not going to be easy emotionally. That's it. You know that it is going to take time. You know that it is going to take a bunch of interviews. You know that generally the acceptance rate is very low, the response rate is very low. When you are conscious about all these things, it is not really so painful, right? It just hurts your ego that someone is rejecting you. Now, so this journey map of a recruiter, which you are doing over here, you'll have to keep doing it iteratively. You might not literally document it on a fig jam. If you do it, it'll be very great. But probably even if you don't do it, at least mentally have an understanding of what are the intentions. When I'm scanning the resumes and portfolios to shortlist people, what is going on in my mind, right? You start with an initial hypothesis. You go with your common sense approach on what do you think recruiter is going to think. At this point, you'll be like, Anudeep, you tell know what they're looking for. That's the point. I don't know what they're looking for. Everyone will look for different things. I'll give you some generic guidelines on generic patterns on what they are generally looking for. I'm not going to say no, but don't get fixated. Portfolio round mein, you need to look at only 2 projects. No, why are you looking at 4th project? You can't think like this, right? So it just completely depends. So when you empathize them, you will behave much better than you take it like a formula. Interviewing process itself, like people have different ways in which the entire process itself runs. Usually, probably in large corporates is where the process is established because they are large corporates. They have to work with processes and everyone follows a standard process. But even there, though the rounds are fixed, though like first portfolio round, second it is going to be whiteboarding round, third it is going to be 3 interviews, one with product manager, one with tech, one with the senior UX design. Though these rounds are fixed, the interviewing absolutely depends on the requirement people have and the projects they are trying to do and the kind of people they are, right? So empathizing recruiters is a very important thing, and I want all of you to take this journey and start putting down notes. What is going on in the mind of recruiter when they are looking at a portfolio? scanning is very important. Do you remember like one clue I told? We design our portfolio assets for multiple stages, correct? Here, as a recruiter, probably I'm just spending 1 minute, correct? And when I'm interviewing the person, probably in a portfolio round, I'm spending 45 minutes, correct? And okay, or multiple rounds are coming in interviews over here, right? So 45 minutes to 1 hour I'm spending over here. Probably when I'm when I'm doing a phone screening, probably I'm only spending 10 seconds, right? Looking at your portfolio, like 10 seconds, zip scan, okay, promising, shortlist. Then spend 1 or 2 minutes, right? Or probably before, like, when I'm directly reaching out to candidates or when I'm looking for referrals, they are scrolling through your LinkedIn post. There, the attention span is 8 seconds. So within 8 seconds, they need to form an impression about you. Are you someone whom I can talk to or look at the portfolio? So in this manner, by common sense, if you go and think about it, you will design the assets of your portfolio depending upon which stage your conversation with the recruiters is. Correct? So the first step is to empathize. Clear, all of you? And I want you to do this as a homework. Please do the recruiter journey mapping. Okay? Do it again. As I said, no, it's not just about doing it one time. Empathy is like, even if you have attended interviews, even if you got selected, still do it because your understanding is much better now. You attended 10 interviews, much better, 100 interviews, much better. You have not attended any interview, it's the first hypothesis. So it'll always help, right? You will always get newer points. Even if I do it, I will realize newer points for my own portfolio right now. Got it? That's why I stress so much on this. Entire approach to interviewing completely changes through this. Okay, very good.
So as a summary, what we can understand is recruiters can take a better decision about hiring you if your work aligns with their goals. And your preparation should go beyond just the portfolio. It should reflect empathy on the recruiter's end. Your preparation should not just be about one single time, but you should constantly keep iterating about your approach, just like how you do things in a usability test. By flipping the script and seeing things from the lens of a UX recruiter, you can ace the interview process by easily standing out. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button, share it with someone whom you think will be largely benefited by watching this video, and don't forget to subscribe for getting more of these videos on my channel. If you have any questions, please drop it in a comment and I'll respond. Thank you very much. See you again.